What's going on, everyone? If you can't tell, I am flying solo today. Long story short, the wife started a new job at the beginning of this year, so she's been working long and hard.
Giggity.
Along with that, she's been staying with her grandmother some nights because, if some of you don't know, her grandfather passed away a couple of weeks ago, and she's been staying with her grandmother just to make sure she's okay. So, with that being said, she's hardly ever home. And, well, I'm trying to stay on top of videos, and I had no idea when we would have time to do a pickups video. And to be honest, when she's home, I'd rather be doing something better than silly pickups video. Anyway, thankfully we did spend the weekend together at the Louisville Arcade Expo in Louisville, Kentucky. To be honest, I didn't really get a ton of footage because when you go to these events every year, you kind of start to see the same games, the same vendors, and yeah, I just kind of went to have fun. But I did want to call out some of the arcade games that I had never seen before. One was a Star Wars pod racing game. Now, I don't know if this is the same pod racing game on the N64. I only got to play one race, but I'd never seen it, and it was super cool. It was kind of weird to play, but I'm not going to lie, I had a lot of fun. Unfortunately, the other screen was kind of messed up, but if you ever come across it, check it out. There's also an F-Zero arcade racing game I had never seen before. It was also a lot of fun. There was also a Primus pinball machine, which I had never seen before. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of Primus, but I had to check it out. It was kind of cool, so if you're a fan of Primus, I'm sure you would probably like it. But to be honest, the wife and I just kept coming back to Robotron. I don't know why we love this arcade so much, but we do. I also want to point out that in the front lobby, they had a bunch of CRT TVs where they had Duck Hunt set up. But over the weekend, they were also playing like the 1990s TMNT movie, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which may have been a bit much for some of the kids there. So it was just kind of a cool little hangout spot if you wanted to get away from the crowds. But as we do, we picked up some stuff. We haven't picked up a ton aside from Louisville throughout the year because, you know, it's kind of slow. There's no yard sales, nothing like that. But I thought I would do a Louisville pickups and also a start of 2023 pickups. Something like that. So, let's start with Louisville. First up, John Riggs was there this time, who I had the chance to meet a couple of months ago at Multicon here in Tennessee. He had a lot more with him this time around, which is kind of cool, but this Castlevania and the Holy Relics caught my attention. Now, I haven't played much of this game, but you can kind of pick your own stage at the beginning, which is kind of cool. You can also pick a relic as you acquire them, which I'm not quite sure what they do. Again, I haven't played much of this game. But from what I played, it's pretty cool. I can't tell if it's just a hack of Castlevania 1 or if it's a hack of Castlevania 3. I don't think it matters, but I will say the one thing that does kind of frustrate me about the game is the jumping. You can actually control the height of your jump, which is not something I'm typically used to when it comes to Castlevania. So if you just tap the jump button, you jump slightly. If you hold it, you jump all the way. Yeah, it's going to take some getting used to. This is kind of a weird flex, but right next to John Riggs, the guy that runs Multicon here in Tennessee, was there promoting a show, as he does with the conventions that we go to in the surrounding areas. But I just happened to be right there. That's me. Again, I know it's a weird flex, but I just wanted to call that out. Next up, we also picked up Crazy Taxi on the Dreamcast. The funny story about this is a couple of months ago, I remember watching a video on YouTube and Crazy Taxi came up and I was like, you know what? I don't think I have Crazy Taxi. Well, at one point we went our separate ways and apparently my wife came across a Dreamcast that just happened to have Crazy Taxi on it. So when we finally got back together later that night, she was like, have you ever played Crazy Taxi on the Dreamcast? It's a lot of fun. It took a while, but I did find someone selling it. Speaking of games that we both enjoy, I also picked up Burnout Legends on the PSP. I haven't played much of this game, but hey, it's Burnout on the go. I mean, what more can you ask for? Next up, we got some PS2 games. Let's talk about Outlaw Tennis. Yeah, I can't tell if this game sucks or I suck. It doesn't seem that bad, but good lord, I struggle with this game. There is an option where you can fight, which is kind of cool, but it's implemented poorly. You basically just button mash until you fill up a meter, and then that person wins. That kind of sucks. Tennis games can be a hit or miss for me, and I'm not sure about this one quite yet. I've been on the lookout for games that look kind of interesting that might fit for my 1-hour reviews, whenever I plan on doing them. But we got Dr. Muto on the PS2. Now, I played a little bit of this game just for the footage, and you know what? This seems like a game I would have enjoyed as a kid. Apparently you play as some mad genius scientist or some crap, the world explodes, I don't really know. I do look forward coming back to this game as it does seem up my alley, but you definitely have to put some time into these games just to see if they're any good. The last game I picked up I wasn't able to play because I recently reorganized my game room, and I don't know how I keep losing power supplies, but I don't know where the power supply from my Xbox went to. No clue. Anyway, we got Cell Damage on the original Xbox. This looks kind of cool. It's part Demolition Derby, part whacked out cartoon come to life. I don't know, it looks like fun. I guess we'll find out. Moving on, we promised ourselves that we wouldn't buy any more art at these conventions, so we bought some art. Now, in our defense, our good buddy Rusty Shackles, who used to be at pretty much every convention that we went to, I love his work. I've bought so much. If you've seen past videos, you've definitely seen his art somewhere in a video. But he kind of stopped doing conventions for a while, and he made his triumphant return at Louisville, so I had to buy something, right? Well, I was happy that he had these little, I think they're 5x7s, I could be wrong. But the wife picked out this really cool Slaughterhouse one. Like I said, I love his work. I think he has a great style. Definitely check out his website if you can. This next one I technically bought from my buddy Shane because he's a big Batman fan. So we got this really cool Batman and Joker. Now when I told him about it, I was like, hey, if you want it, you can have it. But he kindly passed up on it because he said he had a bunch of artwork already that he doesn't even have displayed, which I completely understand. So I guess I'm keeping it, which I'm not butthurt about it. It's pretty cool. Last up, I also got this really cool No Mercy poster. Now, I don't really watch wrestling anymore, but I loved this game when it came out. I still love it to this day. One of the highlights of this event was getting the chance to meet Tim Kitzrow. Now, for those who don't know, again, I'm not a big sports fan, but man, I played NBA Jam a lot as a kid, so obviously I'm very familiar with the classic iconic lines from NBA Jam, such as, "He's on fire! Boom shakalaka!" So I was able to get 2 signed posters. Really cool dude. I think the best part about this event was while you're out there like playing arcade or pinball, you're surrounded by people talking, of course, sounds of the arcade and pinball machines. You have like Guitar Hero blasting in the corner, and you just randomly hear in the background, "Boom shakalaka!" So this next item my wife picked up, we have a couple of these CED video discs around the house somewhere, but she got The Thing from Another World. If you didn't know, this is the original The Thing, not the John Carpenter's The Thing, which is like my all-time favorite horror movie. Speaking of horror and scary things, there's a woman there who did a lot of crocheted, adorable things, and my wife had to pick up a crocheted Cthulhu. I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of adorable. It's soft, and yeah, it's Cthulhu. Even more scary things, we got to add another TMNT Universal Monster figure to our collection. The funny thing about this is I pre-ordered this from GameStop back in July of last year, and it has yet to show up. And it was supposed to be a Christmas gift for the wife. Well, I'm glad we found it at this event, and I canceled my order from GameStop, so yeah. Last up, we got this cute, adorable little Simba thing. I don't know, it was like $5. Thought my wife would like it. She loved it. I guess that's all I have to say about that. Well, anyway, that was our trip to the Louisville Arcade Expo. What about the rest of the year? Well, I picked up a couple of games, nothing too crazy. Let's talk about Cuphead on the Switch. I've been waiting for a physical copy of this game for a long time. Didn't even know they actually released it until I came across it at a GameStop. And yeah, so of course, I had to pick it up. These next 2 games I stumbled upon on my EverDrives, and they were just weird enough for me to want to buy them. First up is Bubba and Sticks on the Sega Genesis. Now, I can't quite figure out if I like this game or not. What I do love is the art style. It's very much the 90s. It just screams the 90s to me. Now, I don't know why I found this so funny, but there's one part in the game where you walk up and there's these 2 little blob monsters talking, and when you get too close, they kind of just look at you weird until you walk away and then they start talking again. I don't know why I found that so funny, but I did. I might end up doing a review of this game because it's just so odd, and I'm just curious what else there is to see in this game. Next up, we got Dino City on the Super Nintendo. It's another game I'm not quite sure about. It's quirky in its own way, but I can't tell if the controls kind of suck or maybe I just kind of suck. But playing it again for this footage, I can't say I wasn't having a good time. Now, if you've never played this game before, but it looks up your alley, I would highly recommend picking this dinosaur as she has a projectile attack, and it makes your life so much easier. But I'm not gonna lie, what made me want to buy this game, because I was curious, like, what's it going for on eBay? As soon as I saw the cover art, I was like, I have to buy this masterpiece. And the wife agreed. And I mean, just look at this. I mean, you can't get any more 90s than a dinosaur wearing a leather jacket with a Walkman. You got the high tops. I mean, just everything about it is the 90s. 100%. This is what life was like. At least how I remember it. Next up, we got a vinyl. We got Flash Gordon, the soundtrack. As some of you may know, I'm a hardcore Queen fanatic. I have been since I was a kid. I'm really trying to get all of the Queen vinyls if I can. And, well, yeah. How do I pass up Flash? Next up, you know those things that we don't collect? Well, we got some E.T. Pops. This was actually a Valentine's Day gift I bought for the wife. I actually passed up on another E.T. in a dress figure. I just thought this one was kind of cuter. Believe it or not, that's all the Pop figures I have to talk about. You thought I was going to pull up another Pop, didn't you? We don't have any more Pops. That's it. Moving on, I was able to add quite a few Sonic the Hedgehog comic books. As some of you may know, I'm trying to get like the first 50 issues, along with like the miniseries and the 48-page specials and all that kind of stuff. So I'm making it. I'm getting very close. I actually ordered some more last night because I won some eBay bids when I was drunk. At least I think I won them. I should probably check that. Anyway, we got issue 23. Not sure what's happening here. Apparently Sonic and Robotnik are trapped in a globe. Yeah. We got issue 24. Apparently Evil Sonic is back, as you can read at the top there. I like in the 90s that if you wanted to make someone cool and or make them evil, you just leather jacket and sunglasses. That's all you needed, apparently. Anyway, we also got issue 25. Apparently this is an adaptation of Sonic CD, which has Metal Sonic, which I absolutely love Metal Sonic. Moving on, we also got issue 30. This is actually one I had as a kid, but unfortunately I had to purge a lot of my Sonic comics because I didn't take care of them. And most of them were missing covers and pages were torn and crumpled. You kind of can't refurbish a comic book. Once it's ruined, it's kind of ruined. But another one I had, issue 34. It's got Uncle Chuck again. So, yeah. And then we got issue 48. This is part of the Endgame series, which I actually really enjoyed this series as a kid. And what I thought was actually the final issue when it came out, issue 50. So, like, Robotnik gets defeated in this one, and I honest to God thought they were done. I thought this was the end, but then they made more. Last up, this is actually kind of funny. This is a lost, forgotten Christmas gift from last year that the wife got me. What happened was when I did the skit, the fishing skit on the one VGM unboxing video I did, thank you all so much. I'm glad you all enjoyed that. Obviously, I had to find my shotgun that I've never shot in my entire life. But I thought it was in the closet, couldn't find it, and just happened to find this. And I was like, well, there's no way that my wife already bought me something for Christmas this year. So I pulled it out, and she was just as shocked as I was to find it. She totally forgot about it. What is it? Well, speaking of Sonic the Hedgehog, it is a really cool Sonic the Hedgehog banner, which I will somehow get a better photo of, which also has Metal Sonic in the background. Really cool. I'm not sure where she got this. I don't really have a place for these banners. I do have like 2 Mega Man ones somewhere, but I think we're gonna eventually hang these in the garage once we clean the garage out. So yeah. Anyway guys, that was another round of pickups. Thank y'all so much for watching. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you again next time.